What's going on, y'all? Y'all tuned into Exposure. I be your boy, the Global Zoe, and I'm with the gang.
Biddines.
And your boy Drego Mill.
And today we got a special guest in the house. We got the one and only songwriter, artist, and producer, Sh8yne08.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
What it do?
Not much, man. How you feeling?
Man, like I'm just talking to some family, man. like I ain't seen some old cousins in a minute.
No, that's what's up. That's the vibe we setting over here, man. It's good to see you, man.
Same, bro.
See you working. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to talk to you. I was really excited about the day and getting to see someone I know from our era grinding and making moves out there, man.
Definitely.
But when I first met you, you were Shane Melody.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So now Sh8yne08.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that change right there? Why
Yeah.
from Shane Melody to Sh8yne08?
It's all about exposure. You need the exposure. You gotta touch the streets. You need that street credibility. You need that promotion. And that's what exposure provides for the peace.
Welcome me that makes him sign out here at MIA, grinding like I always do. Watching exposure.
Getting hit in the head with that exposure. You know what it is, them down dogs, Raylo, #1 DJs, #1 promoters for show from Palm Beach. It's exposed. It's wide open now.
Y'all check it out, you know what I'm saying? Keep it locked all over Florida.
And you are watching Exposure.
Man, you know, the evolution of trying to find yourself, I guess. When I first came in, I was only songwriting. I was pretty much like one of the guys in the city that would like do hooks for all the rappers and shit. And so, you know, that's pretty much what it was. I was trying to find my identity, and like, you know, Shane is an actual part of my name. It's my middle name, but you know, Schife would always tell me like, hey, you need something else on that. You need some. It ain't hit. You need something else. So like, I went by Shane Melody for a little while. But once I started to produce, I actually kind of changed that around. So originally it was gonna be 808 Shane, but I didn't want to disrespect 808 Mafia. Like,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
I know he kind of got a thing about that. So it's Sh8yne08.
Man. So I mean, dope songwriter, dope artist too as a singer, right?
Yep.
So what got you into producing? I mean, you already had two lanes you were dominating. I'm questioning. I said, what makes you say, let me add a third?
You know, like production came out of frustration, to be honest, because I wanted to do things that were different than people were actually giving me, right? So like, I would hit all the producers I know and say, oh, I need this, you know, trap R&B stuff, or like I need something that, you know, feels different than what everybody else is doing. And of course, like at that time, I mean, we're talking like, I forget what year this is, like early 2000s, like who's running the game then, like T-Pain and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody was catering to like that, but nobody really was doing like real R&B. And so yeah, production kind of came out of frustration, just like that void of not getting what you want from everybody, you know. And I'm talking like big producers, like I would be talking to whoever, you know, and like whoever was signed to like We the Best and stuff at the time, and they would send me packs and stuff, but I was just like was never satisfied with it. So production kind of came as like, all right, I'm gonna just make my own shit then, fuck y'all, you know, like.
Shit, Eric, I think that's one thing about you too, man. I feel like, because I know Eric, I you know, a lot of inspiration from recording myself, but even on the production side, that's one artist I know where like he started. I'm like, man, you gonna be able to make it? Because the confidence you gotta have too to like, I'm gonna start making production.
Yeah.
That's one rapper I know who been rap, you know, on his own beats. Like, it was nice to see that.
Yeah.
It motivated me as well. Like, I could do it too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure. Nah, man, I can go in on a long conversation on Eric, bro. Like he, you know, like you was such like a pioneer for us, bro. Like you don't even like realize it, bro. Like he was pretty much, to me, like he was the only person that was from where we're from that wanted to do something completely different than what everybody else was doing. So I was like, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always wanted to be different out the pack too, but I feel like I was so used to catering to the rappers and like being stuck in trap that like that was gonna be my only way in. That's how I felt, you know, for a long time. Like, yeah, this was just, I gotta just keep doing these hooks until one of these shits pop, you know.
Right.
It ended up being that like I had a placement as a producer before I ever had one as a songwriter. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I wish I had the courage like he had at that time to like break away from the pack and like just do something different. So
I thought you was gonna break off as a artist.
Yeah.
More. I thought like Schife was gonna like sign you as an artist, and you was gonna be up under them when you was working with them so much.
Yeah, I was signed to him as a songwriter first.
Oh, okay.
And then like, you know, my contract expired, and then we went on to both do different things, and like we still talk to this day. I see him all the time, but I think that there were some things about like there were just foundational things like where we're from, you know, and like my desire to do different genres of music, you know, like just last year I got a placement in country, you know, so it's like I always wanted to do things that were like and she's good, she's doing great on TikTok, Nicole Alexis. So but yeah, I always wanted to do stuff that was different. I just never knew how to find it because we're just from this little thing, this little circle of people that says, oh, you know, hip hop and like trap just runs our
right
where we from,
our
which
culture.
is
Our culture, period.
Our culture,
Yeah,
it's really
right.
So
Right.
Do you try to influence any of the new acts you work with to like change the sound? Like for me, I feel like that's a responsibility that we not necessarily trying to take, but we'll complain.
Yeah. Even though they bucket as much as they can, because even, you know, the ones that are from, you know, like I have an artist from Broward. You know, I have a couple artists from Broward actually that I work with. Some of them can't shake where they're from. It's just like we may have had a hard time doing that too.
Right.
But I think also like just genres now are bending more than they were then. I feel like there's just a lot more bleed into like, you know, trap and R&B, and more rappers are starting to sing, more singers want to rap, and you know, you have lots of features that are coming from other genres like reggaeton and Afro and all these things that are kind of just fusing into hip hop. I think, well, obviously hip hop led the culture in the way, because like, you know, that's just us, you know, black people influence the world. But I just feel like now genres are bending, and I wish then they would have, because then we would have had more of a lane to like be different, you know. But yeah, I think that's it just comes with the times. But yeah, to answer your question, like I try to influence people to do things, but I never want to push things on someone that they just don't believe that that's a part of who they are. You know, I want to help people tell their own story and cultivate their own sound based on how they see fit. You know, I don't want to push something on someone. Like if you're not gonna do Afro, I'm not gonna send you a pack of Afro beats. Like I'm just not gonna force that on you. But at the same time, I want to encourage you. Like, okay, well maybe you should try this, or maybe you'll sound good doing this. And if they do, they do, and if they don't, you know, somebody will. You know.
Yeah, I think when they're ready, they'll probably do it. I think Future did that. Like at one point, then he got to the point where he got tired of doing what he normally do.
Yeah.
And he asks us like, "Yo, send me something that you don't think that I would do."
Right.
I've heard him say that in the interviews, which is dope. So yeah.
I think that's how a lot of, I mean, a lot of my friends that are producers, like the ones that are winning now, I feel like they're winning with these records that we would not have expected that artist to do. You know?
Are we being too nice and just letting everybody do whatever they feel? For me, if everybody doing it and you saying it's you, then how is that you?
Right.
If it's everybody else?
I agree.
So where's the ethics? Because you can't really move like that in country music. You can't move that like that in classical.
Well,
you can't move like that in a lot of other genres.
They have their things, right? So like, I've been working on a lot of Latin acts too, because of course you can't get around it in Miami. But you'll notice that a lot of them they have rules to their stuff, to like their patterns and the way that they like things, but they're willing to like take a little piece of something else. So like I guess maybe that's where I try to do is just like get them to embrace the other piece of something that can make it sound a little different. Not necessarily change the total format of what they're doing, but you know, that's why you even have people like Bad Bunny now and like, you know, Osuna and all those guys, because they're taking the influence of hip hop and R&B, and they're not necessarily giving you totally different styles of something, but like it's breaking away from the traditional. So eventually, I think it'll be a total swap. Like I feel like you won't hear a reggaeton beat on a Bad Bunny album 2 albums from now. Like you'll probably hear, you know, some trap shit, or you probably hear like an R&B beat that just has a Spanish artist on it. You know, and you're starting to see that now already. As a matter of fact, just probably not from him, but like there's probably a couple other ones that are doing it, I'm sure. You know. But I think everybody has the desire to be different. They just don't know how. I feel like that's just, some things are just embedded in you, you know, and like until you have somebody come and say, okay, well, this is how it can be different, or this is how. I think that's kind of my role, is like I'm just trying to show them how it can be different, and if they embrace it, they do, and if they don't, you know, that's okay too. But I try, you know, I try.
I'm one of those. It's not okay no more.
It's rough, boy.
How was it when you took the jump? Because you just took the jump to a whole different era. Like how'd you feel when were you worried before you did it? Were you worried? Because what he said, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because you just took a whole different turn.
Hip hop to Zupa.
Right.
Yeah. Shoot, I can't say I was worried too much. It was scary though. It wasn't scary because I seen an audience that I already had and relationships that I had. It started changing because it's like, oh, you don't rap no more. Why not gonna stop? But you know, the behind what I'm rapping on is different, but it's still rapping.
Right.
But I can say what kind of made me go all the way over is when I did a remix to a popular song already, and I rapped it for a long time, but that remix, man, I think within a month, people were calling me at 2 a.m. in the middle of the club.
Yeah, it was fire.
Me rapping over the phone, and it just inspired me to be like, man. Once the calls started coming in, and I saw the love online, I was like, man, if I had my own music now, how would it sound? And then 2013, that's when I started it. But it was a little scary, and I had to build all new relationships, all new contacts, all new DJ. Everything changed, and I was alone for I think 2 years. It was hard. I was kind of like contemplating, did I make a mistake? But the support, I think I had a strong enough fan base, and just my true day ones would tell me. I could talk about Eric, I could talk about Soul or Oscar. The ones who like in the beginning when I was trying was like, hey man, I'm proud of you doing something different.
Nice.
That's unique. That's your lane. I don't care what nobody say, you do it.
It's never easy to be the first.
Right.
It made me say, all right, let me go for Zupa 100%. Then I never look back.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, you thought about like, damn, but I don't regret it because now I'm in my own lane. I'm bringing Haiti with me. The whole Haitian American culture now really exists. Yeah. Back then it was kind of emerging, but now it's like you got Haitian Americans who are looking for that kind of music. So I feel like it stands for a lot more. It's bigger than me. And it makes sense with being the global zone. So it was scary, but I don't regret a thing.
I'm surprised, and it's just my opinion, but the Haitian music in general feel underserved to me. Like, since I was, you know, in middle school, you would see a lot of these acts, but you didn't even realize they was already legends, but they never crossed over like a lot of the Latin or a lot of the Jamaican, like all the other Caribbean genres of music. You're like, why Haiti ain't there? It's sounding like a lot of this music that's already there, and they moving, and they got like something behind them. Yeah. So I'm like, do the industry not see this potential? It still don't make sense to me even today. Right. Because you would be up there because it ain't like it's, you know, 200 of y'all running around all over TikTok clogging the algorithms. Right. Especially with Afro beats.
Right. I was gonna go there. But that took time though. That's part of world music, right? It took some time for people to actually.
Take no time.
No, it been around like in the early 2000s. Like they were there, they just wasn't getting the play like they were getting. And then
you know too, like somebody mentioned this to me the other day. I didn't realize it, but like not all platforms have been available through all time with all of these countries. Like technology in some places was, you know, some of these places are still like not third world, but like poorer countries that where these technologies and platforms didn't exist, or like they're just now coming about more into the forefront. Like there's still countries where like YouTube is high in usage, but not like Apple Music and Spotify.
Sure.
Right,
You
right.
know, so it's like I think that's part of it why we didn't get as much of like, you know, like what you're bringing to the table now or then, you know what I mean? Like I think that's a contributing factor, but I also think that like labels are just known to fuck shit up. Like they just known to look at things in a way where it's only dollars,
right,
and not cultural impact.
Right.
Because like things like Afro and Haitian American artists have hella cultural impact for us, especially as black people.
Right.
But like to them isn't a huge market share.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
Which is unfortunate. You know, but it takes so long for us to like put it in your face. Like, okay, Afro is this now, but like these artists been around for like forever, bro. Like. How long have these guys been like really doing this over there?
Right.
You know, where we just never picked it up because I guess in America like they weren't a part of the market share. You know?
But you know what's funny? If you think about the non-Haitian artists though, who almost would take the Haitian flag in the beginning and rock the hell out of it on the marketing tip, and then it goes away.
Yeah, it disappears.
Haitian flag for so long.
Yeah.
And then I felt like it was almost a marketing tactic. And then once he got on, it died.
Fade out Haitian?
No.
Oh,
I think it was just repping his team, his the boys that he was normally with. I think they are.
Oh, he not Haitian? I thought he was Haitian.
Nah, he not.
No? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got asked the question live on the interview. He said he wasn't. But you know what's
Haitian, man.
right?
It's everybody's so affiliated.
Right.
It's all good. It's all
right.
love. But it was just it seemed more of a marketing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he had it around the head. Not everybody's rocking another culture's flag.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of weird.
You know what's wild that we talk about Afro music, Afro beats. Now that we're talking about it, I think Marvel, Wakanda actually probably pushed that all the way to the top because we didn't start embracing the African culture until the movie really. I mean, because it was around COVID times, I guess, and stuff like that. I'm just saying that now that I'm thinking about it.
I'm trying to think about when it first came, like to the
Afro.
Yeah, like when we started to like really embrace that in
not too long ago.
Too long ago. Though.
I want to say maybe 5, maybe more. I want to say around the Wakanda, like the Wakanda movie.
When did Joanna come out?
Joanna.
I feel like I don't know.
You're right.
For me, it was that way. Like
that's
where
true.
It really started.
That's
like,
true.
I'm saying Joanna.
Yeah.
Where that's from again.
Right. That's a good thing.
I forgot his name, but I feel like it came a little bit before. What's the dude? Davido. I mean, WizKid.
Yeah.
There's a few who've been around, but
yeah. I'm trying to think. Damn, when did it come, bro? Like, but also too, there's it helped. Not to say that, like, not to say that he's solely responsible, but like it helped when people like Drake go and like
he really did go
their culture and bring that and I was just with coincidentally this past week I was in a camp and I was with a lot of Canadian producers, some of them which that like produced with Drake.
Yeah.
And even when I hear their stuff, like there's something about it that's just completely different than where we're at right now. And I feel like they have like this mix of culture up there that like maybe lent to the emergence of like Afro, in some way. And maybe there needs to be more mainstream artists in America that go and pull from that too.
Okay, if we're gonna say Drake, then he did. My bad. No. Then he made the UK. Them UK boys blew up too. Then because he went over there, started doing music with them,
gigs,
then like I started liking more of their music.
Yeah, I agree with that
Drake
too.
got his ear to the street.
I mean, he got a pot and everything. The UK, the island,
it's come up. Drake,
the pop,
get on it first.
You're right.
But again, it's part of their culture up there in some way. Yeah. Like I feel like that it's
okay.
It's kind of like tied together in some weird way. Maybe it's like I don't know. Like there's a lot of like Nigerians and a lot of like people from Africa that live in Canada.
Right.
Like,
I know a lot of Jamaicans there. Yeah.
It's way more cultural than like the ginger ale. Like we think Canada is like bland, but then you go over there because I went to Montreal, which is like in the middle of it or something. I think like that, and it was a lot of Haitians in Montreal. I went to a Haitian restaurant there. I was like, "Oh, this is different over here. It ain't like, the kids from South Park." Because they always made Canada seem real dry.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, this is something else.
No pun intended. Canada dry.
That boy spitting.
But nah, I feel what you're saying. Like it makes, but that's I feel like, and not to be like political or nothing, but like I just feel like that's the nature of like the world. Like we always, as Americans, have not embraced the black parts of other parts of the world. Like, why did it take us so long to understand that all of Africa is not,
what they show it is.
Show us like National Geographic or like whatever the fuck. Like, there's so much richness in like people that have like real culture and stuff over there that like if we don't go back and see, like we would never know. You know what I mean? And I feel like in some ways like Canada people kind of like in touch with that idea. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we do run over Akon out his first album. He got his home back music on there too, and we ignored it. Yeah. We might mess with it, but we ignored it. We didn't show it.
We don't fully embrace it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
We might be late over here.
We hella late.
We in our own bubble in America.
We very late for sure.
But that's our problem. It takes time to get out that bubble. Like, and some of us just stay in it. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
It's an arrogance. It's just like when we go somewhere and we expect them to speak English. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, why you embrace their culture? Like, why you expect them to have ours?
Yeah, they did not let me say hello in Montreal. You had to say bonjour.
In French.
Yeah, wow. They look at you. You stand out. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know it was that real. They was like,
that's pretty real.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you don't get with the program.
They got some sort of a rule too. Like, it's kind of disrespectful. And I know in Germany as well, and other parts of Europe, they only even allowed to play so much music outside of their nation in their region, because they want to make they maintain
that
their culture.
Right.
Yeah, because America can kind of take over in some parts. They put limitations.
Wow.
That's crazy you say that. When I was in Dubai, they had a McDonald's. We just wanted to see how different it was. They had their own version of the Empire State in Dubai. I don't want to sing it. No, and we're freaking out. Like, it's crazy how you say that, because we went to Germany too. They had their own version. Like, they have their own. They don't play. They know them, but they rock what they rock, and they more musically cultured, I think, out there too.
All of us got passports.
Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't been around a room full of everybody got passports.
Now that you say that, that's funny. Because
my name dropping where they been.
Wow.
I'm in Dubai.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
That's crazy you said that. I never thought about it like that.
I'm about to say.
That's why the conversation different.
Right. Okay.
It definitely changes you when you leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Schife is a big name. I know we kind of mentioned him earlier. How did you meet Schife, and what role he played in your career, like to today?
I tell everybody the same thing. Like, I don't know where I would be if he hadn't found me, and like, obviously, like, God had a plan for me anyway, and I know that I would have made it somewhere. But I do think that a big part of me meeting so many people early on was because he was just willing to let me tag along, even if I wasn't contributing to a room. Like, I can remember when he took me to Khaled for the first time, or Cool and Dre's. I would never even think at this point in my career that, like, I just wrote some stuff with Cool and Dre, but like, who knows what impact that stuff had on. It's kind of like how they say, like, what's it, like the butterfly effect? Like, when you go back and you change one thing, you don't know how it changes the future. Mm-hmm. I very much believe that us meeting each other was like something so necessary for like the trajectory of my career, because I think it would have taken me much longer to be embraced by people that don't necessarily, like, I'll give you an example. I didn't finish that thought, but like, it would have taken me longer to be embraced by street niggas,
right,
that never really had people that were like singers, or niggas that did like R&B in their corner. Like,
right.
That was not even like a thought to them until like people like Ross came and showed them like, he was doing like a lot of R&B hooks. Yeah. And, like, he had Match Pike Miles, and he had like You know, he has singers around him. So like, I'm thinking like, and when I go back and I think about how I met some of these people, I'm like, there's no way they would have embraced me without Schife's presence at all. You know. So I met Schife because of a good friend of mine, Eli on the beats. He's also a platinum producer. He produced some stuff for Khaled with Schife. And I met him in like 2008, I believe, 8 or 9. And this is right around the time where Schife had done Khaled's Victory album. And if anybody in his circle or culture knows, like, that album had like 8 records from Schife on it. It was like one of the only records, except for like some of the most recent Khaled albums, where like one producer kind of like ran the whole thing.
Yeah.
Except for like the runners and like people that were signed to him. But like Schife had like hella records on that album. And I remember meeting him and I'm like, how the fuck did you get all of those records on one album? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I was excited in the
Which album was that?
This was Victory.
Victory album.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I had just come around him and Oscar around that time. And I just remember being so impressed by that. You know what I mean? Like, who else was doing that? Like, I mean, he and from where we're from.
Yeah, like,
and I'm not talking about like somebody who's from Atlanta. Like, we almost expected that for somebody who was like
that was one of
Metro.
our biggest looks.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was huge. I mean, Schife is the reason why Fat Joe came to come find G-Boy. You know, or like, man. So
They was all about to sign to Khaled too.
Who?
They was all about to sign as a group to Khaled.
Yeah. Well, Schife already had a situation with Khaled, but because of that album, I believe. I don't want to speak on his business. I don't know if it was before or after, but like, he was super instrumental in me getting to Miami and meeting a lot of people, bro. 100%. So yes, I probably would have made it at some point, but I almost feel like he knew I needed to like be in certain doors, and he took me wherever he went. Like, I would call him like, "What you doing today, bro?" He's like, "Oh man, I gotta go to my lawyer's office. I gotta go do this." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "I'm gonna drive you. Let's go."
That's what's up.
And I just be around, bro. Like, and he was okay just having me around. And I feel like that's like, I'm super in his debt for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
Super in his debt. But like, we talk all the time. Like, he's having a hell of a run right now with Rob 49 and all those new young guys like Wiz Havin and like all the new artists in Florida.
Yeah.
He's still cranking.
He's still cranking.
Still. So yeah, big Schife. Big shout out to Schife for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I guess you from Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I see you making moves all over. Miami, Broward, Atlanta. I mean, you everywhere. Do you feel obligated to be working with or anything to point? Like, do you feel like you should have an artist? Because I know you got an artist from Broward. Do people that say, "Hey, how come you not?" Or does an artist ever approach you? How come you not working with no one from Palm Beach? And they see you have all this momentum, right? Do you get that, or is that something that comes across your way?
I don't know if I feel like I have obligation, but I would like for it to happen because I think that'd be super dope. You know what I mean? To like have someone pop who's from the same city as you, you know, who understands why other people don't make it from the same city as you.
Right.
You know, I feel like that's super important. But I am working with one right now, Baby Boy Slime, and he's gonna go for sure. And
he's from Palm Beach, right?
He's from
Palm
Beach.
What part?
Lake Worth.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to L Dub.
Yeah. And there's some other ones too. P90 Pope, incredible songwriter. She's definitely gonna go too.
Oh, with the dread.
Yes.
Oh, I really like her.
Yeah, she's out of here. At some point, somebody is gonna take interest in her, and she's already starting to work with other big.
You know her as a songwriter or?
Artist.
Oh,
like
yeah. She has some projects out.
She raps. She can do the melodic thing too. She got bars if she wants to.
She's insane.
The girl,
I
she
just helped her on her
dope.
last project. We did one together, but we have.
I didn't know she was like still moving. I couldn't really tell, but I really like her.
Yeah, probably because she's also doing the songwriting, and so a lot of, probably a lot of her records she doesn't keep either. So, but yeah, she's out of here too for sure.
Do you struggle with that? Do you put yourself as an artist, or you see yourself more as a producer now? Like, does it matter for you?
I've completely let that go. I don't think that I won't say it's like never gonna be in the cards for me, but I don't enjoy it. You know, I think that there's too much in today's time. There's too much that's necessary for you to be a popping artist, and I don't think that
too much politics.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think it's just less about the music, and I'm all about that. You know, I'm all about how everything sounds.
Eric,
That's why.
yeah, thank you.
Exactly
You went right back to him. I was gonna say this sounds like Eric talking.
It's the dance.
Yeah,
the dance is necessary,
Yeah.
and you want to respect that, but you also see the gimmick getting being what's driving everything, and then that start compromising you as a creator, because you're like, man, I could do the dance too now. I think I can't do the dance, but what I make, or I'm not limited to the dance. My greatness is beyond the dance.
Yeah,
we fly.
Yeah,
and then you like, you know what? I don't want to have to be on TikTok 48 hours a week to be necessary in the algorithms. Then you got so much competition in there to where it's like, no, if you want to be an artist, this is mandatory.
Yeah,
you got to do this. Nobody else is doing it for you. Nobody else helping you with that part. We get you the beats, but if you ain't doing that, you done, and that's it. And that's what we calling the work.
Yeah,
that's what we calling the work. So it's like, man, you got to put that work.
Almost like
be on my phone.
It overshadows your need to create more music. Sometimes it's just to me, I try to tell artists like, or ask them like, how often are you in the studio? You know, and if they're like telling me they're doing this and that, and I gotta shoot this, and content is key, and blah blah blah. All right, well, then how long are you gonna be here as an artist? You know, like if social media is shut down tomorrow and all we got left is Apple Music and Spotify, can you last? You know, is your music gonna be able to get you to the next point, or are you gonna have to dance your way through some, you know, like TikTok moment and go viral to be successful? You know, like I'm just all about the music, I feel. So I don't think I'll ever be satisfied in the artist space. I think
the page getting hacked will mess you up.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, my whole life.
I've seen it.
People been stressed out from getting it.
Definitely.
I was hacked at 80,000.
Yeah.
They got my boy. Okay, they got my boy. I don't want to put this. They got my boy, right? And how it happened is it was a crazy. He says a girl that he knows messaged him, hit him up at 2 a.m. So he said he waking up in his sleep, like she asked for, hey, what's your number? But she messaged him on Facebook. And he's like, I thought she had my number. He hit her back with the phone number. So it's 2 a.m. So she then says, hey, you're going to get a text from me. Just let me know what the code is, because I can't log into my
verification.
It was something about I can't log into my account. But he said it's 2. He's not, once again, he just like, he's giving the information.
Got him.
She got it. Stole the account. And from there, got the Instagram, got everything.
I got my Bitcoin robbed similar that way.
And that's one thing I hit him, because I'm like, hey, I'm getting another friend request. What's up? And he was like, man, it's a sad. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. But I'm like, I'm sure you could try to write Facebook, but that energy, he didn't even have the energy to write Facebook to try to get it back, because he felt so violated from that experience. And I'm like, dang.
Well, there's artists now where like they don't control their page.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
belongs to some company and they post at certain times and this and that, and all they got to do is provide them with the content to post. And it's like that might be okay for someone who's not ever going to be good at doing it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're right. Like people lose their page, they lose their they lose their livelihood. You know,
that's what I was going to tell you. Now that a lot of them are not controlling that, there's somebody else that's running their page for them. Yes, they probably do the video just like how you said, but they not the one that's handling that. And I was talking to you. It seems like when I wake up in the morning, it's like maybe a 9 or a 12. They're posting like a 9, 12, like every quarter of the day, like a new content, 6 o'clock or it's 6:01. It's a brand new content for somebody else. Or when there's a sports event happening, it's halftime. Everybody posting. It's like they know when the.
That's probably how I would do it if I was artist. Only because, like again, I'm
because what are you doing
in that part of the game?
I mean, I just shot a commercial with the Dolphins, right, with Barry Chubb, and they took me to this room in the facility, It's about double the size of this room. It's the same thing. It's 12 computers. It's 12 folks on there, and it's content driven.
Wow.
This person's uploaded for this. This person's the TikTok. This person's on Facebook. This person gets behind the scenes. I mean,
Right.
it was when I had 3 movie cameras looking at me. Like you, it's like you feel it pressure.
Right.
It was like professional as can be as well.
Right.
But content is key.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's somebody going out the tunnel with them.
Yeah.
Content.
That's hard.
It's
Yeah.
all staged to your point. It's
Yeah.
time. It has something going.
Yeah.
But as we was talking about the artists, so I read the study from Ball Alert. New study reveals 38 million tracks on streaming platforms received 0 plays last year. 38 million tracks, which tells you artists are uploading a good amount of songs, but who the hell is listening to it? They not even listening to their own music. If you think about that stat right
facts,
there,
that's
how
facts.
crazy is that? 38 million tracks, man.
Imagine how many got only 100 that ain't listen.
Yeah. Well, and of that, there's artists that probably have real situations that don't have more than 1,000 streams on a song. You know, like
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like social media is part of the game now. Like you gotta respect it. But
Yeah, I think we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
I think some of us struggle with that though. But I talk to Eric all the time about it. But I feel like that's the only way I feel someone comes to me and be like, "Oh, you relevant."
because you know what's
like-
crazy. You know what's crazy? I've been in camps a lot, but this last week I was in one, and I realized like when you're connecting with someone, especially like in there, we knew everybody was somebody at least to some degree, and maybe not higher level or whatever, but like everybody was somebody because they were invited. But when you go and you are exchanging information with them, we're like, the first thing you ask is like, oh, what's your Instagram? Like, we don't even ask each other anymore, like, hey, what's your phone number?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's your Instagram? So you can go and see what they're all about and who got a blue check, and that's a whole nother thing now.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy, bro, that like we literally validate people
Off of followers and
based on what their social media is like.
People thought I was still out of the country. I had in last 2 weeks I ran into 3 people and I had to tell them like, nah, I been here. They're like, you back in the city? I'm like, you ain't hear about COVID?
Yeah, right.
Ain't everybody here? I'm like, no, I've been here for a minute. Like, all right, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, wait, you thought I was gone, so what do we keep doing? So, but
Now we thought you was out there getting that bag. That's what that was.
You know what I'm saying?
But I ain't on social media though, so
Right.
my page there, but you ain't showing up to nobody, so it's like you invisible.
Right.
Yeah. It's
That can dehumanize you as well, because you like, especially as being an active artist to inactive, and it's like you only somebody if you're active in doing and being who people remember you to be.
Yeah. I realized how important that was when I started taking some meetings with publishers and stuff, and they're like, first thing they're doing is go to your page. I'm like, well, why does that matter? You know, like, why? If I told you I produced this, and that, like, why do you care what I look like as a social media presence or whatever? But they do. They really, even down to producers and songwriters, like, because they want to take interest in the ones that want to be like a face. Those are the ones that are going to make some.
Even
make
video directors, what Sean said, he shoot videos. He trying to promote himself as a video director. He was like, oh. Like they said, man, you got to get your Instagram likes up
before you can even charge somebody what you really want to charge them.
That's crazy.
But I shoot videos. I'm trying to shoot the video.
Yeah,
gotta get your numbers up.
Let me say this though: there's a lot of producers that are great. Why do they expect the producers to have numbers like the artists? Because that's crazy. It's a bunch of them out there. They probably only have like 10K, maybe 12.
Yeah,
but
true.
they pop in.
They want to know if you share it, they can get more of your social following.
But I think also culturally, our super producers are phasing out. Right?
Facts.
So like all the guys we look to, like
Timberland,
whoever, and I don't want to say their names because I still deal with some of them.
Okay.
But like they might be older than us, but they're still making music, but they're older than us. Like we're looking for our like. Who's going to be the next?
Yeah. Right.
Who's going to be the next Pharrell? And I feel like labels are taking an interest in that too because they want to sign the guy that wants to be the household name.
Right.
Because that's more money for them. You know, when they decide that they want to Diddy bop on somebody's record and put their influence on it. You know, just like, you know, I have a tag and a lot of other producers have tags, but some of the producers I know that are really making money don't have tags.
Yeah, they don't. I was gonna get to you on that, but yeah, they don't just don't use it no more.
It just depends on what you want out of the game. Like if you want to go for the biggest bag, I feel like you need to position yourself to be someone who's going to be a household name. I personally want to have a run.
Right.
Like DJ Mustard, like everybody else. I feel like I want to be able to say, I ran the summer between 2023 and, you know, or whatever.
Right.
But that's my own personal desire. Like some guys just want to make good music and they don't want to be known. Like shout out to Ben Billions. He makes incredible music. He makes half the Weeknd's catalog. But whenever I see Ben, he got on the same thing. He got on a black t-shirt, some camo pants, and some old Jordan 3s, and he worth more than everybody in the room, you know. But he just doesn't care to be known in that way. It's like it doesn't matter to him.
Right.
You know? Wow. So there are producers that just don't.
Right. They don't know. They don't want the limelight. Like they don't care about it like that.
But I feel like if you want to go get the biggest bag, you probably should.
Got to. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should, because not everybody's gonna have a Weeknd record.
Right.
So
let me. I got a question for you. Speaking of tags, how you feel about it? Do you still run your tags?
Yeah.
Cause I'm asking that because you got some well-known big. I mean, they big. They mogul. You know what I'm saying? They say not to. I've seen another interview. They say not to. They say that it gets boring. They say don't run it. If you're gonna let them listen to it, don't run your tags. They say after you get all done and everything like that, then you want to put your tag on there. But I think, you know, if I know my track's gonna get played, I want my tag on there because I know people know who my tag is. You know what I'm saying?
I think if you have the desire to have that kind of run, then you should have a tag.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
the OGs say it, but you got. I want to say the people that ran after the OGs. I'm gonna name a couple. Yeah. We got the Don. We got dude out of Memphis. I forgot his name. He said this the team that came after the OGs. They saying not to run your tags, and I feel like I don't get my respect if you don't hear the tag, because that means now if they didn't pick that track, let's just say Fat Boy didn't get the track, but he hear it now on another big person. I want him to respect me, you know. So that's just how I feel. Like, hey, hold on, oh shit, he got on like my sentence. Yeah, like, I want you to know, hey, he did that. Well, you had a chance.
I think it's good to have a variation of tags too. There are producers that have tags that have more than one.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I have two. So like, you know, the thing is, right, like, I don't use the tag for all genres of things.
Facts. Yeah.
Definitely anything that's hip hop related, I'm gonna use the tag. But most recently, I started using it in some of the stuff I have in the Latin world. But only because they biting off us anyway. Like it sounds like hip hop and y'all rapping, so I'm gonna put my tag on there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I guess again, it just goes back to your own desire. You know, as a producer, if you just feel like as long as your name's on the check, you don't care, then yeah. But if
better be a cool tag too, because some of the tags mess the whole vibe. Like, man, this is a chick
some
song.
Of them
you
too
got
aggressive.
Gunshots.
Some of them too much.
Yeah. You gotta let it go.
Some
sometimes.
people had some fire tags, and you kind of want it. You kind of want
sometimes it just needs to be in that drop. Yeah, some of them are really hard.
And the placement of the tag is important.
Correct.
Like, it being too loud or in the forefront because you want to be as loud as the artist. Like,
right.
My tag isn't like that. My tag has a lot of reverb in it. It's just like it's a girl yelling 08, like you're yelling down the street, like trying to get somebody's attention. But a lot of times you'll miss it. Right. It's in there, but like it's not as loud as you know, like listen to this track. Right. You know. But yeah, I think it's important if you want to have an identity. You know?
On top of that one, I got another one for you. How do you feel? Well, Tyler the Creator was saying this. He said, record labels or whoever's printing the names of the songs or the artists when they make the title of the song, he said, I felt him on that. He said we need to go back and putting producer's name on the title.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
It depends. Because a lot of these tracks are collabs and they'll have
That's
8
true.
niggas on it. And it's like,
Well, yeah.
it's like, we gonna, how long this book gonna be? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think we should get back to having like some kind of digital version of CD covers. You know, like in our time when you bought something, especially if you were a creative, like you wanted to know who wrote it, who produced it. And a lot of times now, like I still have credits that are missing on some of my records that like I'm trying to go back and say, hey, you guys missed me on Spotify. I'm not listed there as the producer. I'm not listed as a writer. So people missed out on credits because people don't go and list them. So I think it would be pretty dope if when an album comes out, you have like that digital version of the CD book, because then you could really go back and see like,
Right.
man, like I was, as a songwriter, I was super impressed to know that like if I heard something that I thought sounded like a certain songwriter and I found out that it actually was that songwriter,
Right.
that like I was like, oh yeah, it's like, oh I knew it was the Drego.
Right.
Like, you know, like, so I think those things are cool just to know as a creative, because that was fuel for us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knowing who the producer was and who the songwriter was, and
Now,
being able to identify with them.
If it's created by one person, I can understand, because you're right. It would be a long book. There's slash this and slash that and slash that. Yeah, so understood.
Yeah, I mean, but it's more frequent now than not that there are collabs on. Man, there's some Drake songs that have like 7 writers,
Yeah.
or like 4 producers,
Right.
You know, so I can only imagine. But it's digital. Fuck it. Let me just swipe up and see who it is. You know?
Right.
But I do think it's important to list it.
Right.
Yeah. It's important to list it, because that's part of. I mean, imagine sometimes you don't get paid from these things up front. You might not get an advance on a record, so like seeing your name there is like super important fuel to keep going. You know.
When you say don't get the advance, that means you just getting the publishing on the back end.
You're just getting the publishing. Yeah, you know, maybe this is your first placement and you weren't in a position to charge them. You were just lucky to get a placement.
Right.
You know, like seeing your name as a credit is the same as getting that money.
Right.
You know,
So
it's
a
like,
younger producer should be thinking about this. Like, you know, as I'm networking or I'm trying to get on, like depending on the artist, I might want to be able to just to present them the record and ensure I secure a percentage for the publishing versus I charge $500 and I'm not bending, I'm not folding, whether it's 5 or it's a stat.
It depends. Now, I'm not saying don't go get your money, because like you know, but I think you have to build up to being able to stand on it and say, look, this is what I charge and this is what it is. Because if you're okay with losing a placement based on it, then that's you. But I don't want to lose. If I know I'm going to be placing on a major album that could potentially get the eyes of a publisher, why would I jeopardize that over a few $100s, you know, or $1,000 or even $2,000 or whatever? Like, I feel like it's not important, because in the long run is like, I'm gonna benefit from this, you know. Like, why would I jeopardize that for short-term money?
I work with some big writers and they didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
And
songwriters had it the worst.
Yeah, they was there.
By the way, yeah,
3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They ain't get nothing up front.
yeah.
Nothing, and it never came out. So they just, and that's how they move.
Mm-hmm.
They in the city. They flew out. They hitting studios with producers, and it's like their thing. They not even expecting really.
I think
they ain't even signing the split sheet. Sometimes it's just like, hey, we'll figure it out if it's work. And them like some of the bigger people.
Yeah.
Many are really about their business, but when you aggressive and you know that you can figure it out, and then you also end up, if you are in a existing publishing situation, they gonna find it. So they might not really have to do anything. So, but I'm saying that to say, younger artists that sometimes younger producers and writers that's looking to get into it for money.
You gotta take some L's.
Yeah, you gotta take some L's.
But that's the thing, is like, is it even an L?
Is it
Is
I
it
mean,
an L
if your
'cause you
name's on it,
if you in it for the money, you
Yeah.
might be looking at it like a L.
But if that's the case, like, do you love this anyway enough to withstand all the other times where you're not going to get paid? You know,
I don't know if the love is. I don't feel the spirit of love in the process. You know, we felt it. Like in some of the newer stuff, I'm seeing the what's the word, like the ambition, the drive to like really, like these younger kids, they really they got the energy and the stamina to be aggressive and really going with the essence of the Soulja Boy format. Like I see that in it, and I'm like, oh, it can't keep up with them because they doing it like that. But I don't know if I feel what you felt when the Timberlands, the Pharrells, the
I'm not saying
the grind,
like the love in making the actual product. I'm saying like the love in, do you want to do this for the rest of your life type thing. Like I feel like
being a creator,
but
that's still a good.
We would have more executives then. We would be seeing like we come from. There was people that wanted their dream was to be behind the scenes.
Right.
We don't remember. Everybody had a record label. Yeah. Everybody there, like I'm not really seeing that. I ain't seeing they already have like establishment. They just a rapper. They ready to get on, and their social media is popping. They got the numbers and the stats, but you don't even see much of the like the YBN Cordays or what the like that whole YBN movement or the whole thing with what Pro Era was doing and stuff like that. Like that. Odd Future, things like that was like, oh, these kids, they're adults now, but they on something else. Yeah. Like they come, you definitely saw that love of Odd Future, and they wrote Soulja Boy. And I ain't gonna speak on his music, but you definitely felt the love in Soulja Boy because his business, he was a mogul out the gate. He had the white out. He made the Global Zoe put white out on his glasses.
Damn, that's real now.
Yeah.
Hey, there was a TJ DJs where I definitely had it.
You definitely did it.
Vote, he showed up did.
Bro. So like he was.
We all had on big ass t-shirts and
that was like tees for sure.
Shit,
for sure.
Yeah. So you seen that other drive. They knew who Diddy was. They knew who Master P was. They knew. I don't know. And my oldest, he 14. He make music, and they'll go on YouTube, grab a beat. They don't care what audio quality it is. They don't worry about nothing. And the producers ain't worrying. And I ain't gonna lie, some of the beats be kind of fire.
Right.
And they $23. Don't know about the stems. None of that. I'm like, man, y'all ain't doing none of the basics.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, we couldn't even step out with anything. We wouldn't even release this. They're like, oh, this how we do it. Then delete it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Quality.
But I feel like in this generation, there's a need for like creative expression. But those aren't necessarily people that just love music. They're just looking for outlets that are positive, or like they're looking for outlets that feed their circle of friends that like make them feel good, but they're not necessarily doing it because they love music. They're doing it because they're so fucking creative. They don't know what else to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's some kids that are really great and that can rap their ass off, and they might make a fire ass song, but then they might also be the next Virgil Abloh and create all these crazy amazing things. It's just like, I just feel like we're in an age where kids have access to all the things that they can be, and they're just trying to figure out what it is. Like they're so inundated with like social media, and they can become all these things, and they can learn all these things in like the drop of a hat. So because they have that resource, it's like, what do I want to do with all this? Maybe I can go and do whatever. But I think just the first natural thing, for some reason, is to be a rapper. Like I just feel like that's the most like easy form of expression to get out. You don't have to go and buy a sewing machine to learn how to sew and this and that to make your clothing line. Right. It's not as labor and investment intensive as some other things. Music is just like, oh man, my homeboy got a mic and he got an interface, and we got Pro Tools, and shit, we just about to go over there.
Right.
So I feel like that's part of it too. It's just like an easy form of expression, and like people just don't know what to do, but they don't love it enough to withstand like what the business is going to throw at them.
They what they're going through is what we went through. I'm gonna say some in our era. Some of us wanted to just hear us on a CD, or hear us on a cassette back in the day.
Yeah,
that's it. But theirs is digital, so they just want to hear themselves on it, let their friend hear it.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. I mean, if you're
Facts.
paying attention, and they're saying the average record takes 200,000 to blow. You know, I can't tell you how many clips in recent interviews I've seen, heard, about a record, how much it takes from Q to
Right.
I mean, you name it. Some of these big songwriters behind the scene.
Yeah.
Everyone's
300.
talking about this 200K to break a record.
But they don't believe that because they also are in a generation that sees constant viral moments. So for them, it's like, well, this guy had a viral moment. I know my shit's fire. Like, I'm just gonna put this out.
Right.
You know, like they're not necessarily thinking of a standpoint of like investment and like how much it's gonna take to go major. I don't even know if they care. They just wanted to get popping enough to say, "Oh, hey, y'all go repost this. Y'all see,
right.
I'm popping. I'm viral right now."
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think to them it's like even worth their energy to think about how long it's gonna be running and if they're gonna be successful at it. They just want to pop off for the moment. You know. Mm-hmm. But I do think that's what separates the ones that are gonna last from like, the viral sensations and stuff. You know, and I think they're easy to identify too if you like really sit down and like listen to their music. You know, that's why at the end of the day, for me, again, like going back to like the desire to be an artist, like it all comes down to like how good the music is. Like, I want to work with people that are gonna last, and I want to work with people who are gonna really try to push themselves to the limit to create the things that are within themselves. You know, but it's obvious from the jump which ones just ain't gonna do that, and I feel like labels are starting to pick up too on like who's just here for a viral moment and who's here for like, okay, he's gonna be here for a long run,
right?
He could sell out a stadium, he could do this, he can, like you could tell there's some ways.
I tend to see more of I guess somewhat of the opposite on that end. I know a lot of cats that got talent. I mean, freestyle, rappers, singers, whether, but that drive, that hunger, that will, that grit, if you want to call it, you gotta have. Like, if it's not happening for you in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2, 3, 4 years, not everybody can go that marathon. Mm-hmm. Some people can run a quick 100, you know what I mean? Right. But when you talk about the marathon, that's why I see a lot of people get burnt out, unfortunately, because it didn't happen fast enough.
Right.
Or we see other people getting on, and you feel like maybe that should have been you, and you're not performing. Because as we look at the city now, so much new talent, but at the same time, it's like, so we're always trying to figure out what should our artists be doing today to withstand everything that's coming at you. Besides good music, I mean, I know so many artists that got good music. Yeah. And you've seen, I'm sure from earlier to even now, because you're present with the newer generation. So what does it take now in your work, in your eyes, from what you're seeing, for that complete package as an artist? What does that entail?
I think, like, I wish that we had started now. Right, like me.
That's crazy. You say that.
I love that
because I think, and some people feel differently about this, but I feel like the artists that stick and have a viral moment have it because it's something authentic in it. They're not having it just because it's a funny thing, or just because like they're a meme today and they're gone tomorrow. Like, I feel like if they have a viral moment and they stay, and the music also stays with them, that means that the reason they actually had that viral moment is because it was something authentic that like resonated. I don't feel like it was viral just because it was some bullshit and then like it stuck. Like, because you could tell the ones that are like, if you go back and you know every year when like they do like what was popping for the year, like at like the end of the year, like before New Year comes, and like you see all these memes, and you're like, damn, I forgot about that meme, right? And it's like you can tell which people are going to be the ones that are forgotten about because they were just that meme, or the ones that kind of stuck through because the music helped them push through. So I feel like I wish that we had come out now because the people who are authentic do stick. That's why you had the XXX Tentaciones and the even people like Kodak Black. Like, we love Kodak because we love Kodak. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love that he's an example of where we're from, and he's gonna be that whether he's on his record or whether he's on a Bruno Mars record or whatever Atlantic decide to put him on, he's gonna be exactly what he is. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the true testament of somebody who's just being themselves, and that's how I try to gauge like what artists I'm gonna work with. Like, You know, are they being themselves all the time? Are they doing this just? If you doing something on the phone and you turn it off and you set it down and you not whoever you was when you was doing this,
it ain't for you. Yeah,
that ain't for me.
Yeah, it's got to be your life. Yeah,
authenticity. Okay.
Yeah,
that's it. Being authentic, man. That's real.
Yeah,
not just a gimmick, man.
One thing that I learned about being around Khaled is that he is the exact same whether he is on the phone or whether he is talking to you. Like he is like the same person all the time. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why he's still here. You know, we don't all identify with his music and we don't all identify with the things that he does, but I feel like he's sticking for that reason.
Right.
Like he ain't being something that, I mean, him doing funny viral shit obviously, but like he's still being himself in the process, I think. You know. So that's how I pick people. It's just like, you know, are they authentic to themselves?
He gonna find a way to put out that content.
Oh yeah, he gonna find
a vacation.
Yeah,
whether
and he gonna get that brand deal.
Whether it's the making of the album, he gonna find a way to definitely put out that content.
Ross the same way.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Ross on the interview, like, how do you pick which things you invest in? He's like, I don't invest in things that
you don't mess with.
Use, I don't
Correct.
mess with or whatever. Like,
that's crazy you said that.
I believe that. Like,
it's facts.
Ross got one of the best beat ears.
Yeah.
He picks some amazing beats.
He has a style.
You know who picks amazing beats? Yeah. Sam Sneak. Sam Sneak picks amazing beats.
That's who his guy is.
Sam Sneak
his DJ
is the reason, to me, in my opinion. I mean, everybody might feel differently, but like, I'm sure Ross does pick great beats, but Sam Sneak's ear is impeccable to like knowing what's new, knowing what the streets on. I mean, obviously he's a DJ, he's tapped in, he's on the road, but like, yeah.
I think that's important to have that though. You gotta have that. You gotta have one of them on the squad for sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a big role of the success.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they stay on it.
I say we should get back to the A&Rs and the executive producers being the stars.
It depends. I'll tell you why. If we're picking A&Rs that are from the mud, then yes.
Facts.
If we're picking A&Rs because there's some recent college graduate that is looking for a job and they just so happen to major in whatever, something music related, and you're deciding to put them on the squad because they have a college degree but they have no ear for music, then no. Because
at this point, that shouldn't even be a process. Music shouldn't even go through like an educational platform where you getting these certain, not knocking the intern process, but you got a lot of artists that didn't make it that will make amazing A&Rs. You got a lot of producers or songwriters. But that's what I'm saying.
They have musical ties, and they.
It's something really. It's magical. And I experienced this with a couple of people, but it's two girls specifically. Whenever they would find an artist, they always took off. Like they always took off. Two girls specifically, they not in the industry, but they just know there's a sense. Yeah. It's like a spiritual sense. They just know when they casually finding gold. And that was a thing with Motown, the lady Billie Jean. She would pick all the hits. If she said that it was a hit, nobody argued her. They actually hated her because her taste in music, and she was like the front desk lady. Yeah. And he'll go to, you like this? Yeah. Michael Jackson even had, that's where the song Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just the girl that claimed that I am the one. Because every time Michael Jackson brought a song, it was a hit. But it wasn't just with Michael Jackson, it was everybody. And there's she just shout out to underpaid. But shout out to Berry Gordy for his superpower was being able to discover talent finders.
Right.
L.A. Reid was the same way.
Right.
He gave, Organized Noise and Rico Wade. He said, "Y'all do what y'all do with Outkast and Dungeon Family. I believe in y'all. Oh, y'all bring us TLC in here. We believe in that." He did it with Dallas Austin and some other people. So there was always Puff Daddy, same thing with Andre Harrell, who gave him his opportunity. There was these superpowers that everybody was playing a role, and they just knew how to find what was gonna penetrate in a very special way. Yeah. So now we missing out on the other special abilities because the human ain't running none of this right now. It's the algorithms. It ain't that we wowed by it being something that's gonna connect and just transcend everything where it's undeniable. We not really finding that. When you heard Hustling for the first time, nobody could deny that record by Ross.
Right.
The first time I heard it,
I honestly got locked
everybody
on.
Like the beat ain't even really dropped. And Khaled had to play it. There's stuff like that we are everybody being robbed of, but specifically these people with these super abilities that if their ear is so good, their sensation, they almost seeing into the future.
Yeah.
If they say it's gonna go, it's gonna go. That is a real thing. And I'm like, man, we missing out on that. Well, that's way more exciting than what's happening right now.
I think part of the reason why we don't have that as much is because that's hard to put on a resume, and these corporate structures are the ones that are like trying to dictate who's going to be next by signing this person and putting money behind that person. And so like an A&R's ability to discover talent is hard to put on paper if you don't have a track record of doing it. So like now these corporate structures are going to these colleges and getting the interns and all that stuff. Is like, you're just perpetuating the problem by going to hire this kid who doesn't know anything about finding undeniable talent, who's just going on their Instagram page and seeing who's hot, and they're saying, "Oh, sign that guy because he's going to be next," and then he's good right now, but not like
flops.
And then flops, and then they do it all over again. So it's kind of like a perpetual problem from that standpoint. Like, you're right, we don't have people that are picking undeniable things because corporately they're not giving those people a job. They're not giving those people a chance to even say, "Hey, I know talent." When they're like, "Oh, well, did you go to college? What'd you major in? What's your background? Oh, do you have a background in sales? Oh, I can't hire you then. You can take out the trash if you want to, but like I'm not gonna put you responsible for finding the talent that we invest in." So now the people that are in charge of finding that talent ain't doing nothing but going on their phones and seeing who's got X amount of followers or who's on the explore page when you refresh it, and they're what we're calling A&Rs now, So I think that is part of the problem.
It used to be like that. Yeah. I don't think what's happening right now gonna last long enough. I think the apps themselves are starting to really develop their own A&R departments that's gonna help with the filtering process, because they're gonna realize, wait, some of this is not even healthy to a certain degree. Not the lack of diversity.
Do you know that they said it was reported that the TikTok that we see in America is not the same TikTok that they see in like China or Japan or something like that. China, I think it was.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, like we don't even see the same content on the same exact platform. Like
they filtered it for other countries.
Yeah,
that's
crazy. You can't see certain stuff. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah. Well, we got way more freedom over here.
Yeah.
Europe like that too.
You gotta be over 13 too. I think is it something about?
He said in some areas. Yeah, in some areas they had an
age restriction.
Right.
But I heard. I mean, everyone keeps saying that TikTok. Of course, you're seeing it's suicide and
Right.
the violence you see
Right.
there. But it's fun. I mean, I don't see nothing like that.
I don't either.
The depression, the kids not handling certain rejection and like the withdrawals they can get, like just seeing certain body types, and then like you getting depressed because obviously if your body ain't like that, or if you having desires of wanting what the image of success, fame, money, and all that is, and then you still in the real world, you can definitely feel inadequate in life.
Comparison.
Yeah. And it on the internet, it look like it's supposed to come like this, everything like that. But then we moving way slower.
Yeah, real time
than
is
the digital world.
It's not swiping time.
Yeah, like
Right.
so we gonna have to.
So they
do
just
something
keep
about
feeding
that.
them every time they swipe. Yeah.
I had a conversation with my son. He's 10. He got like 59 subscribers on YouTube. And it took some work to get him. You know, he got 59. I remember when it was 11, 12. He's at 59, but he looks at Mr. Beast, who's a popular YouTuber.
Yeah.
He got 16. He's stuck on that high number.
Right.
And I'm like, son, you got to keep working on it.
Right.
He started when he was 12 or 15.
Right.
When he had 0, and he kept going. And I'm trying to teach him at 10 what consistency and hard work and
Right.
grind. Like, you got to give me content because I'm helping him upload. But even now, he's starting to have an understanding because when he see it go up, he get like a high off of it. Like, yeah, I got 12 more this week, Dad. Like, let's go play basketball. Like, now that's his motivation.
Right,
Let's
right.
go hoop. Like, bring the camera. Don't forget the camera. He wants to enjoy that documentation process, but it is work.
Yeah.
You're right. And they stuck on that number every
Right.
day
Yeah.
for that. I want it now, but I'm like, it's gonna take some time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get there, but you're gonna have to work for it.
That's affecting them though. With looking at validation online.
But if he keep putting in his head like they work for it, then that's what he's gonna hunger for. That he knows he gotta work, because it ain't just gonna come. Like, yeah. So you stay in that position, he gonna understand by the time he get a little older. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's good. That's real good. Oh, I got a question. Another question for you. So you're a producer,
Yes.
right?
I think we established that.
Right. So I'm gonna stand up for this.
Well
dog.
known. Say it well known.
So okay. A lot of people don't understand what producer is.
Okay.
There's different types. So you make beats, and you also
I also songwrite.
correct. Okay. So now there are some. We was having this discussion in the Discord. They're saying Diddy is a producer. Now I was saying they say Khaled is a producer. I said it depends where you're going at it. So I want you to explain to me what kind of producer
I like
Diddy
this
or
conversation.
Khaled is.
I like this conversation because people don't give credit to other people who are curators and tastemakers. I think it's equally as important to provide someone with a style, just as much as it is if I sat right next to you and said, say it like this,
Correct.
do it like that. Even if I never touched the board, even if I never played the keys, even if I never programmed drums, if I'm the one in the room saying it will sound better if you did it like this, and in fact it did, then I'm a producer.
Okay.
I helped to produce the end result
Correct.
of the work.
Correct.
Now, I understand that people who are musicians often don't like to give the people who are tastemakers the same sense of weight in the creative process, because they don't feel like they're doing the same equal amount of work.
Right.
But unfortunately, if I was the tastemaker and I told you change that chord or play it like this, just because I can't put my hands physically on the keyboard and make it happen the way that I'm
Right.
telling you to, doesn't make it any less significant just because I didn't play it. I don't think like that. That's just like people who like this is another kind of like creative problem we have in like the record making process, right? It's like if there's 3 songwriters in a room,
Yep.
and one says, and we all contribute, right? Let's say all of us were making a record right now.
Right.
And Eric came up with the hook on his own.
Right.
And me and Fat Boy, we threw some lines back and forth, and we made some verses, right? And you was the one that made the beat, right, or whatever. You wrote too,
right?
Let's
just
say you wrote too. Right. We're not even gonna include production on this.
Okay.
Should Eric walk away with a bigger percentage of that song because he wrote the hook, or should we all split it in 4 ways?
I'm sure that's something in the industry that's crazy. To me, I know my heart.
Yeah,
I would like to split it all the way down the
same
middle.
way. But you'll get in some of these rooms,
right?
I had a record where I had a split that was unequal because someone felt that they deserved more than the other. But in my opinion, right, it's a group project, right? It's like if we turn in this science project at the end of the day and
we all get that same grade.
We all get the same grade. If this goes platinum, we all platinum.
Yeah.
So, like, why does it matter who physically gave what? You know, like, I just don't think that that's equally as important. But I say that to say, like, same thing with the production. Like, if I was the one that came in the room and I was Puff and I said, we're going to do it like this because it just sounds, this is what the ladies want right now.
Right.
And it turns out to be so, then, like, yeah, I produced the record. Like, just because I didn't touch the keys, I didn't come in with the, with the sauce, so. Yeah, so
I asked you that because I was telling them producing and just being a beat maker are kind of still.
Yeah, I don't even like to separate them by title because. Whether you made the beat or whether you gave the influence, you produced the end result.
Correct. It still came up to what it.
To call me a beat maker is like to diminish my gift to be able to put my hands on the keys and make something come out of it. It's kind of like that's dumb. Like we all produced, whether I said to do it or I physically did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
I'm looking at the list of artists that you work with. French Montana.
Yeah.
How did that placement come about? And like, do y'all like?
Actually, I've worked with French twice indirectly.
Okay.
My first one, he was a feature on a record that I did with Richie West, which is an artist from Tampa. I co-produced that record with Mev the Renegade and Goose, who's a producer that we know. So that was the first time that I had an encounter with French. He was a feature on that record. The second time was with Coke Boy 6, which just came out this year. So I produced a record on there by Chinese Kitty, which was one of the artists that is affiliated with Coke Boys, and that made it to the album. So that was my second kind of like indirect working with French. I have other records that supposedly made it to him, but those are the two that actually landed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jay Burna.
Jay Burna is my brother. That's artist out of Broward. We have a lot of good stuff on the way. A lot of good stuff. We have I won't even say that. But yeah, a lot of good stuff on the way. Yeah.
Okay. And somebody I've met and know too, he's well known down south, is Kiddo Marv.
Kiddo's my brother too.
He's grinding.
Yeah.
Big time records on the radio like Drip.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal with it.
Kiddo is one of them people, man, that like he's another one of those that's like he's the same every time you talk to him. He's the same person. Like when I was in my place of like, man, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm not making it nowhere. It's not getting me where I want to be. He would call me, text me, be like, man, bro, like you tripping. Like, you gotta have a little faith in this thing. And like, he was really always uplifting to me. That's good. So Kiddo's one of those people that like a lot of industry people know, as they should, because he writes a lot for like other people. He wrote for the City Girls. He wrote for a lot of people in Miami. Yeah, so nice. I work with Kiddo. If Kiddo called me at 5 a.m, I get up and send him a pack and do anything I can for him. Like I love Kiddo, for sure.
So you talk about these packs.
Yeah.
So if I'm grinding as a producer, you ready for a situation. You're not trying to work much more as, okay, I'm gonna get there, then I'm gonna work. But you kind of set yourself up. Like it sounds like you got a genre for hip hop, maybe.
Yeah,
trap,
I think
R&B.
there's a space for both types of producers. Producers that pull up and cook up on the spot, and that are really effective and don't spend hours doing the same thing. or there's producers that's gonna send you stuff that's already like ready to go. You know, I prefer if I'm cooking up on the spot, I prefer to be in the songwriter capacity because I feel like I'd rather get the record done. But yeah, I'd like to have stuff that's like already set aside and like I can send to whoever if I need to. You know,
Dope.
But I also do it with other producers. Like, I recently met some producers that I've been collaborating with, and like, even if I'm not on that beat, and if I know it's something that can go to somebody that I'm close to, I'll send it because I might be in the songwriter capacity on it. You know, like it doesn't stop me just because I'm not the producer on it.
Fire.
You know? So I like to do that a lot, and just I have packs of other people's stuff ready to go too.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. And what's one thing artists could like? What's the one flaw in artists though? Like I'm sure through your experiences, there's got to be something that pops up from a producer that like could rub you the wrong way, whether it's their attitude or the approach or how they handle the business on the back. Well, is there something special, something in particular maybe we could be taught on to handle that situation better? From artists reaching out to a super producer, from a producer handling an artist?
Yeah, I think we all have to understand that like music is collaborative, so you just have to come in with no ego, no pride, be willing to try things that other people can hear in you that you don't necessarily hear in yourself. Because I mean, there's been times where like, you know, you go in with a rapper and you discover somehow that like they can sing a little bit. You're like, oh shit, like you know you can hold that note, right? Like, let's try it like this, you know. So I think it's just being willing to be open to try things, and I think like that's how people get major hits. I feel like, you know, I had a recent conversation with Coi Leray I met the other day, or like
I
last
saw
week.
your little comment about
girls players.
You see how your comment was jumping? Your comment box was jumping.
Hey,
when you made them 3 sitting posts. Man. I was like, dang, everybody responding.
She is so beautiful in real life. That was a very hard conversation. But you know, we were talking about players. I had seen her in the kitchen of Rebel 11, and I started talking to her just randomly because I was just like, she's just sitting here like, don't nobody know this Coi Leray? Like, don't nobody, y'all too scared to talk to her or something? So yeah. I just walked up to her and started talking, and she was, you know, just telling me about LA and telling me about where she was in her project, and I was asking her about sound, and she was just like, everybody loves players, but like, I'm totally getting away from that on the next shit. She's just like, it's gonna be like something totally different, and like I respect that. Like she's willing to at least try, knowing that she has a good track record doing something specific. She's totally willing to like break away from the mold and like do something.
It seems like she's into the challenge. Every interview I seen, like she's gonna like, if they put a title on her, she's gonna break it. Bet.
There's a couple of them like that. Her, like Doja Cat. You know, like there's people that you don't know what to expect. You know, Don Toliver. You don't know what their albums are gonna sound like. It's whatever they decide for it to be. You know, I love artists like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just where it is. It's like if you want to last, you got to just continue to reinvent yourself. And just do something that's, you know, if you follow the trend and the trend dies, then what you think is gonna happen? You know?
Yeah.
Shit, everybody doing it, right? Everybody's doing it. Like
I don't think everybody need to sound the same.
Correct.
I mean,
I agree with that.
It's dope that
I totally agree with that.
Got different sounds from Palm Beach.
Right.
I'm looking forward. I be looking forward to hearing a new record from somebody who doesn't sound like everybody else. I think it's dope, dog. You could still represent the city and not sound like the person down the street.
Yeah.
You know?
I also think that and this is just like, I think this is just a stupid neighborhood thing that all cities go through, right? Like when you're from a certain city and you'll say, I don't know, like I've heard this before, like somebody will say, oh, I'm from Broward, right? I'm like, oh, where? Oh, I'm from Pompano. And then somebody will say, oh, I'm from Fort Lauderdale. Or like if you're from Palm Beach, somebody will say, oh, I'm from Lake Worth. Oh, I'm from Boynton. It's like, do you not understand that the music industry doesn't care that y'all only 10 miles away from each other? Like, it doesn't matter which neighborhood you're from. I feel like if you're from Palm Beach, you should collaborate with everybody from your area. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's so much division based on what neighborhood or city you live in or where you come from. I was like, when you go to Miami, people don't even know where that shit is. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, or when you go to Atlanta, like, you think people are gonna know. People from outside of the state only know like Miami, Orlando, and like you're lucky if they know Tampa.
Miami or Tallahassee. Yes,
yeah, like they don't care. So I feel like we shouldn't care either. You know,
facts.
Like there should be so much more collaboration between people from Palm Beach and each other, people from Broward and Palm Beach. You know, I just feel like there's so many ways for us to lift each other up into the light, you know. And for whatever reason, when you come from like, you know, whatever hood you come from, like you just feel like you're not supposed to fuck with somebody based on wherever they come from. I just don't understand that. You know, for me, it's just like, do you want to be bigger than what this place is? Because if you want to be bigger than this place, then you have to go collaborate with people all over the place, you know. Like,
then I see something with the upcoming artists though. If an artist has put in the work, you know, I've put nice videos out. I've worked with the top 5 artists in the county, and you're aware of that. Yeah. And now you're reaching out to me for that feature, and I put out a fee.
Yeah.
Because for my work and my time, maybe I'm not gonna hit you in the head, but I might say, damn. You know what? I might pay up my phone bill, put some gas in the car, and bust a move or two. Yeah. So when they put out a price, I see, or I always hear the feedback from the younger artists. They don't understand the business side, so now they feel offended. Oh, you think you too good for the city? You ain't putting nobody on. But at the end of the day, it's like, no, that artist had to work and grind to get what they're at. They're from the flyers to the graphics to the studio time. So if someone wants 500 or 1,000. I think that's what cripples Palm Beach. Most of it is behind the scene business stuff. Yeah. Where people don't understand, like, no, I might be where I'm at, but I might have to pay for this feature. I paid for that, or I paid just for this marketing campaign. So I got to bring some of that kind of revenue back in somehow.
Yeah.
So if you reaching out to me, obviously you like what I got going. I think we got to understand when I'm approaching somebody, you know who you're approaching to when you got to bring in the business.
Of course.
Or when it's like, we could do this off of love.
I was just getting ready to say
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can help each other out.
Yeah.
Because there's some artists I reached out to in the city before, and it was like, I done got a 2-for-1 special. Because it was just on the right day. They're like, look, man, if you could do, I came for one, but it was like, if you could do this and this,
That's right.
I can get you 2. You want a hook?
That's right.
Like, and it's just keeping it 100. Like, I done seen how that works.
Yeah.
But you pay the cost to be the boss, though, to get your name where it is. But a lot of people won't tell you, well, I ain't got that. This is what I got. They're more like, you won't hear from them again.
I think that's just like a business thing, business-minded thing, you know? Like, I mean, some people know, a lot of people don't know, but like I sold real estate for a long time while I've been doing all this, you know, trying to get my name straight and get out there or whatever.
Yeah.
But like one thing I pulled from that to this is like, you just got to know how to talk to people sometimes. Like if you don't have the money for a feature, but you have leverage in some other avenue, like you might want to use that to your benefit. You know what I mean? Like if I can't afford to pay you, then maybe I'll give you a couple beats, or maybe I'll do a couple hooks for you, or whatever. You know, if I got a clothing line, oh, you want some of my merch, bro? Like this shit, how this person was wearing it, blah blah blah. Like you have to find where your leverage is, and if you don't have any of that, then you better be prepared to pay. Like that's just
how I see it.
It's just what it is.
No offense.
Like, yeah, like
no offense.
You're approaching me with nothing, like you don't have any type of like, you know, presence, or you don't have any leverage in the game. Like then why is your expectation to receive it for free? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, where did you get that idea that it should be free? You know what I'm saying?
Understood. Understood.
So I think it's all about leverage and just trying to like, you know, do what's best for both parties. You know, we can swap it out. Fuck yeah, I might not have it to pay you, but you know, I'll give you 5 beats or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Up it, right?
Yeah.
I feel you gotta give a little, man. Take a little bit, give a little bit.
That's it.
It all works. Do you have a top 3 artists like who would you see right now you would love to work with? Top 3 artists, whether it's Florida or just out there that you just be like, damn, that would be the bucket list. Like that's on my bucket list right there. What would be your top 3 artists?
It's weird because I have like my lifelong ones, like all time, what I would like to do, and then I have like my short term of like I would really like to work with this person right now because I like what they're doing right now.
Give me 2 from each then. Just 2 if you could give us 2 from each.
I really would like to work with Ty Dolla $ign. I feel like our styles are closely
Great
aligned.
one.
Ty Dolla.
Yeah, our styles are really closely aligned. So I feel like that would be really, really special. And for whatever reason, I've had some like semi-close ties, and it just hasn't happened yet for whatever reason. But I feel like it will. So I definitely want to get with Ty Dolla $ign. Probably Chris Brown, but I don't think I would want to do it right now. I think that like he's just putting out way too much music. I feel like it's kind of watering down what we want him to be.
Okay.
He's upset about it at the same time.
Yeah, like I feel like we do revere him as one of our greats, but
He got to take a break.
yeah, like I feel like give us something to miss, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna put out a record that has
He got to do a Usher. He got to do a Usher.
Yeah.
30 records, bro.
Bro,
I know that one project had a lot.
I think it had like
I
40.
don't even think I've listened to that whole album yet.
No.
You know,
Me
like
neither.
so. Yeah, in some way, I would like to work with
Yeah,
him.
he got to do a Usher and go missing for a while.
Yeah,
The record that took off is an older record, right? The what's the
Under Influence.
yeah, isn't that an older record? Someone told me that's
Yeah,
not even a new
that's
record.
an old record.
That's an older record, right? It's crazy.
But I mean, I understand the strategy behind it, but I just don't. I think like sometimes like we don't need to water ourselves down so thin.
Yeah,
like, damn.
he went on a rant about that, man. That's his
He
fault,
might
though.
want to just get it out.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I probably got like 100 songs. What am I gonna do with that?
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, and then if you want to keep creating, you're like, man, I'm inspired to do something new. You be like, whoa, I got 100 something songs in the stash. It stop you.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, you got all these bangers. You gonna make some money.
The only thing I could think
out.
would be dope, it would be for him to like spread them out so that it would be, you know how like Wayne had that year where he did all those features.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like that would be dope for Chris, like to have a year where he just has like all these crazy ass features because he's just got so much work. You know?
So you
but he's on my list.
Ty Dolla.
He's on my list.
In the long run.
Long run. I don't know who our next, I don't know who our next Beyonce is gonna be, but whoever that is, I would like to have them. Like,
a good one, bro. That's a good one.
The
maybe Chloe Bailey.
Yeah, Chloe. Yeah.
I've heard of her a lot more. I'm not too familiar with her.
Yeah,
she's
I mean, I would
Beyonce's
like
artist.
to work with her now. You know, I think that would be dope.
I like Ari Lennox.
I love Ari Lennox.
Yeah, Ari Lennox.
I love Ari Lennox. I feel honestly, and this is not to say, I mean, this is not to sound any kind of way, but like I feel like I'm very close to working with the kind of artists I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like one like major hit away, so that they'll like respect me being next to them.
That's what's up.
So I feel like that's why I'm super like hell bent on like trying to get with a publisher and all that stuff, and like trying to up the game a little bit.
That helps.
Yeah,
because they
it will,
looking at
because they'll put you in rooms and stuff that you normally wouldn't have access to and stuff. So, who else? I guess depending on his state of mind, Kanye. You know,
Yeah,
I really would like to, because despite what we may feel about him on a personal level, like we can't deny all his musical contributions.
He's a genius.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I would definitely like to work with him at some point.
Right now, the best time to do it.
Maybe
The bipolar Kanye, the
Maybe.
best Kanye to work with.
maybe.
No, that's dope, man. I think that's a solid list right there.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's lots of others, but yeah, and I will, you know, at some point I'll touch them, but we'll see how we get there.
Man, my last question for you would have been like, I work-life balance, you know, being a father, man, and on the grind the way you are. Do you find it challenging? Like, how do you balance, the grind that we in, and also taking, raising kids and being there as a father? Do you see challenges with that?
Every day.
Yeah.
The hardest thing, I guess, for me is having to say no to things that I know could potentially like be big, you know, for the sake of family or, you know, somebody's sick. You got to step in to do this or do that. And man, I told him one time my daughter was sick and I missed going to Puff's party, and I like I was mad. I wasn't mad about it, but like as a joke, I would like remind her about it and stuff. But yeah, there's things you're gonna miss. You just you can't help it if you care enough to be there. Obviously, for your, you know, for your family. But some people are like, man, fuck that.
They savage.
I'm gonna go
like, fuck that.
But no, I you know, I'm a girl dad, and like, man, when they call and it's something, I drop everything and go, you know. But it's tough because session times, school time, that don't necessarily align. You know, I might be getting out of a session at 4 a.m. and having to take my daughter to school at 6:30, 7 o'clock, trying to figure out when I'm asleep, trying to go next. You know, like it's a lot of maneuvering, you know, schedule. But you know, I just go about it the best way I can. You know, I just try to weigh out what's most important and what isn't. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, I can't you know, not care for my kids just because I want to go to this session. You know?
Right.
Like, that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I've missed some things. I've definitely missed some important things, but they'll be back again. You know, it ain't going nowhere.
No, you grinding for sure.
Yeah, and if they want your sound and you know, what you offer bad enough, they'll reschedule or they'll understand. Or if they don't, then you just catch the next one. You know.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. At this point, I like to bring a gem of the day. Is always that advice you give to your younger self or to an upcoming producer out there. What would be one advice you can give them, the viewers, and anyone listening to the podcast?
One piece of advice. Well, I would say stay true to yourself, and if you haven't figured out who that person is yet, then do that first before you do anything else. You know,
I like that one.
If you haven't figured out what your style is, what you like, and most of the times, us figuring out us just is detaching from everybody else for a minute and just like trying to understand what makes you tick, what makes you go, what motivates you to get up in the morning. So for me, like, you know, I've had moments where I've had to take a break because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what's, you know, like, I don't know where I should put my focus. But I'm sure in those moments, had I just taken a break to like really stop and think about it or like put things aside. A lot of times putting things aside is the hardest because we really feel like we're going to miss out.
Damn.
You know, it's really that.
That's me all day.
That's really what it is, you know? Like, I might take a session with an artist that I know I ain't never listened to this guy before. I ain't never going to listen to this artist, but he signed to some label. So I'm trying to impress the A&R. I'm trying to impress, you know, it's like, no. Like, let's just figure out what things we want to take, where we want to put our focuses, and then just go after that, you know? But you won't know those things unless you know yourself, you know? For sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, you got anything for him?
Huh? You'll make a great executive.
One day.
I
see it, right? Yeah, I see that, man.
Yeah.
That's in my trajectory, I think. At some point in my, you know, like down the
you
line.
already there. And you could write, you vocal arrange, you produce.
Yeah.
You could image consult. Yeah.
I would love to do all that stuff,
And you
man.
understand the business, I think, most
Yeah.
importantly. You
Yeah.
understand the business.
I mean, I would really like to get into film. Film, I think, is my next, like, after I do this, after I have a run, like, I really want to score some films. I really want to be in charge of, like, soundtracks, maybe even,
bigger bag.
yeah.
Way bigger bag.
Made that bag sound like I was about to start producing. I was listening to David Banner. He was like, no chances.
He ain't even want to go back. I don't even think he ever came back.
No, he ain't come back.
No.
He ain't come back.
He did the God box.
Too.
And now,
Yeah. That's more. That was like a passion project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like he really came back
he
to
dope
like.
too.
Yeah.
He dope.
What
Man,
what DAW do you use?
Reason.
That's the only one you prefer?
It's my preference, but I've been seeing a lot of people use Ableton.
Yeah.
Ableton seems to have some really cool sampling features and stuff that I really want to. I might lean that way because they're pretty similar in the workflow.
Have you touched Logic's? Have you checked out Logic's? How you feel about Logic's?
Too basic for me.
Too basic?
I don't like the
interface.
No, I think the sound that comes out is better for vocals.
Yeah,
I don't think it's as hard hitting for like drums and things like that. Like,
it's all native sounds over there. That's what it really is.
Yeah, I would have to do a lot to get the same kind of quality of drum sound that I have now.
Understood.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, brother, man, I just want to, I'm taking my hat off to you. Salute, man, from the grind to where you are now, a family man, doing everything you're supposed to be doing and representing the city in the best light I can see, especially from, just seeing everything you do. Thank you. Keep going. Thank you, thank you for blessing us with your presence today.
Y'all keep going, man. I love this.
Definitely will. I was about to tell you, we here for you, man. When you get that billboard or that next record, reach out, man. We'll love to have you back and continue the conversation.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from all three of us here, man. We here for you and it's exposure, man. So how can the people follow you and get in contact with you?
I'm the same on all platforms. So it's Sh8yne08. It's Sh8yne08. Sh8yne08.
Gotcha. All right.
That's what's up, man. Y'all tune into Exposure and we signing out. Peace. Yes, sir.
It's more than just a podcast. It's exposure.